Okay, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Lady Nyca, and with some updates. Last night, in the middle of the night, I dropped the article or the video about R. Kelly being arrested last night. Well, today we have a little bit more information, and I wanted to come in and share it with you all. This article comes from the New York Times. I will link it down in the pinned comments so that you can go over and read it for yourself. But let's just talk a little bit about what Mr. R. Kelly is accused of. He is accused of paying off the family at the center of his 2008 trial. Two new federal indictments charge the R&B singer with making child pornography, obstructing justice, and other crimes relating to sex with underage girls. R. Kelly knew he had a problem. He was under investigation beginning around late 2000 for making a videotape that purported to show him having sex and urinating on a teenage girl, a tape that would soon become infamous. So, according to the federal grand jury indictment unsealed Friday in Chicago, he and his associates tried to take care of it. They gave the girl and her family gifts, money, over more than a dozen years, the indictment alleges. There were payments of thousands of dollars, a GMC Yukon Denali SUV given to the girl, a trip abroad to make them unavailable to law enforcement, and instructions that they lied to investigators to protect him. It may never be known whether these activities, if proven true, helped lead to his acquittal in 2008 when the case finally went to trial, but these allegations, some of which have been long subject of rumor and suspicions, are part of the raft of new federal charges brought against Mr. Kelly this week, shifting what had been a local case to Chicago to a multi-state federal prosecution. Mr. Kelly, whose real name is Robert S. Kelly, was indicted by a federal grand jury in Chicago on 13 counts, among them conspiracy to obstruct justice, producing child pornography, including 4 videos that included the girl whose family he is accused of paying. He's also accused of crimes against 4 other minors, including aggravated criminal abuse and sexual exploitation of a child. In addition, a grand jury in Brooklyn indicted Mr. Kelly on 5 counts, including racketeering and violations of the Mann Act, which prohibits transporting people across state lines to engage in illegal sex activity. Although the indictment accused Mr. Kelly of crimes against 10 women, 8 of whom were minors at the time. Mr. Kelly is 52 years old, was arrested Thursday night in Chicago while walking his dog, a Pomeranian named Believe. One of Mr. Kelly's signature hits was I Believe I Can Fly. He was taken into custody by a team of federal officers from Homeland Security Investigations from New York and Chicago, as well as the New York Police Department. The singer already facing charges in state court in Chicago, sexually assaulting 4 women, 3 of whom were underage. Mr. Kelly's lawyer, Steve Greenberg, posted a statement on Twitter on Friday morning that said most of the conduct for which Mr. Kelly was arrested on Thursday were decades old and covered the same activities Mr. Kelly has been charged with in state court or already acquitted of in 2008. The conduct alleged appears to be largely the same conduct previously alleged against Mr. Kelly in his current state indictment and his former state charges that he was acquitted of, Mr. Greenberg wrote. It is not clear how many of the 4 women from the Chicago case were included in the new federal indictments, though the numbers indicated there were at least 6 new women, and the crimes now being alleged are more expansive than those in the state case. After decades of allegations and rumors, the investigations into Mr. Kelly's behavior took off after the documentary Surviving R. Kelly aired on Lifetime. A Homeland Security Investigations official said on Friday that the office began investigating after the agent watched the show. Among the more disturbing allegations in the documentary, which were described by journalist Jim, is that man named Jim D. Rogatis, was that Mr. Kelly and members of his entourage would groom and recruit girls and women and keep them in kind of captivity. According to one of the indictments, Mr. Kelly were in one of the indictments, the women were required to wear baggy clothes when not around Mr. Kelly and were ordered to keep their heads down, forbidden from looking at other men. They had to get Mr. Kelly's permission to leave their room, even go eat or go to the bathroom. They were told to call him Daddy. One of the women met RKelly in a mall about 15 years ago when she was in her early 20s, according to court filings in Friday by a state's attorney in Brooklyn. Mr. Kelly invited her into his recording studio in Chicago, where associates of his made a copy of her driver's license, searched her suitcase, and had her sign what she believed was a non-disclosure agreement. She was taken to a locked room where she was kept for 3 days without sustenance. Sustenance meaning food and water, I'm assuming. After a member of Mr. Kelly's entourage finally gave her something to eat and drink, she became dizzy and tired. She woke up to find Mr. Kelly with her, in circumstances that made clear he had sexually assaulted her while she was unconscious. Another victim is 16, when Mr. Kelly, who was in his late 40s at the time, began abusing her. Mr. Kelly made her believe that if she did not obey him, she or her family members would suffer serious harm. If she did not follow his sexual commands, she would be slapped, choked, locked in a room for days at a time without food. One woman identified in the Brooklyn indictment as Jane Doe number 5 appears to be Faith A. Rogers, a Texas woman who has sued Mr. Kelly on charges of sexual battery, false imprisonment, knowingly infecting her with herpes without disclosing it. That suit remains unsolved. Some of the new charges, child, this is a lot, honey. Some of the new charges revolve around Mr. Kelly's habit of making videotapes of his sexual activities, some of which escaped his possession. When he realized the tapes involving the underage girls could cause him trouble, he and his associates would scramble furiously to recover the videos that had gotten out, according to one of the indictments. In 2001, he and his business manager, Darrell McDavid, started paying an acquaintance hundreds of thousands of dollars to track down and collect tapes, the indictment said. Later, when the acquaintance planned a news conference to announce that he had videos showing Mr. Kelly engaging in sexual activity with minors, Mr. Kelly and Mr. McDavid and others paid that person $170,000 to cancel it. They also agreed to pay one of the underage girls $350,000 to return tapes, but also had her take a polygraph test to affirm she was returning all the copies she had, according to the indictment. Mr. McDavid, appearing in federal court in Chicago on Friday, dressed in black, pleaded not guilty to 4 counts, including receiving child pornography, conspiracy to obstruct justice. Another of Mr. Kelly's employees, Milton June Brown, was charged 1 count of conspiracy to receive child pornography. He was expected to surrender next week and has yet not entered a plea. The most notorious of the tapes focus on Mr. Kelly's first arrest in 2002. That case dragged on for 6 years before finally going to trial, with Mr. Kelly sliding past the gruesome headlines to release hit after hit. Throughout that time, and as recently as 2015, according to one of the indictments, he was paying the girl and her family to keep quiet or lie to investigators and a grand jury. Through the details of the indictments suggest that people once close to R. Kelly were cooperating with the federal investigation. It was not clear whether the girl, now in her 30s, or members of her immediate family were among them. During his trial, none of them testified against him, and he was acquitted on all charges. Child, let me tell you something. First of all, I don't know if it's just me, But I ain't never seen a campaign so strong against an individual, black or white, to destroy a person's credibility and basically try them in the court of public opinion before they can have their rightful day in court. Now, I feel like if he did all of this, then yes, let's get him before the judge. Let's get him in the courtroom in front of a judge and a jury of his peers. Present all the evidence. Don't hide nothing. Don't let nothing slide by if you can avoid it. And then let's move on to proving this case. And if you can prove it, by all means, if you can prove it, prove it. My point is, although I do feel like R. Kelly put himself at risk when he was acquitted in 2008 by continuing to deal or have others get young women, I don't give a damn how old they is. After I walked away from what they took him through in the early 2000s, ain't no way in hell I would have ever, child, I probably would have turned gay. I don't know. I would have did something. But this is not what I would have done. And it seems to me that he had a hell of a lot of enablers around him. So whatever he's guilty of, they are too. But my question, I don't care how this makes some people feel, I know you're going to get mad, is how the hell did R. Kelly get access to so many young women? What was y'all mamas and daddies at? Or were y'all thinking that, oh, he can make my child a star, so I'm going to go on and let my child hang out with him and then, you know, he gonna put them on? I don't understand. Especially when you knew the reputation. You knew he had a proclivity by all the reports that came out. You had to be living under a damn rock if you didn't know that he had a proclivity for younger females, okay? Why would you allow your daughter to interact with a man of his age when you know what his history says? Whether or not his history is true or not, the fact that so many people said it would have been enough for me not to go and introduce or allow him near my daughter. Period. So for you that say, well, how would y'all standing up here acting like it ain't, you know, what about your children? What if this was your daughter? See, it couldn't have been my daughter, because I was on my job. My daughter would have just had to figure out a way. We'd have got her in some performing arts schools and done something with her to try to help her get into the business if that was her desire. But turning her over to a man with a questionable background says to me that you need to be sitting up with some of these charges right along with him, because you were complicit in bringing your daughter, signing over in one of the girls' cases, gave this man guardianship. I wouldn't even, child, let me tell you something. I was nervous about family members around my children. So ain't no way in hell I would have given my child over to a man that is of that age with that reputation. I don't give a damn if he believes he can fly and how many Grammys he win. Your parents failed your children. That's why you sitting up now going after this man tooth and nail, because that ain't all about. Y'all were getting coins out of this in some kind of way. Y'all went to this man on the come up, and it didn't pan out the way you wanted it to. So now we going to join together and try to destroy him. And that's the part I can't understand. I don't believe that almost none of them people that was on that Surviving R. Kelly series. And the reason why is because several members, including the Savage family, has come out and said that people were lying and Lifetime knew it, but they wanted to keep going with it. Why would you put a docuseries out? When we gonna get a Surviving Harvey Weinstein? When we gonna get a Surviving Kevin Spacey, Surviving Charlie Sheen, Surviving all these white men who seem to be able to do these similar crimes and not get drugged through the mud like R. Kelly is? Now, again, for you slow ones in the back, I'm not saying R. Kelly don't deserve what he getting. I don't know what the hell he did in his personal time with these women. I don't even know if he was affiliated. I don't know. I'm on the outside looking in. And from what it looks like to me on the outside, a lot of greedy ass people thought they were about to get the come up and they put their daughters out there like somewhat like putting a stake in front of a lion's face. What the fuck you think he gonna do? So you brought your daughter to this drama. Whatever they endured while they was there, the parents bear fault in it as well as RKelly. And I'm not going to keep arguing back and forth with nobody about my opinion because I'm entitled to that and this is my channel. So if you don't like what I'm saying, you got that, you got the right and the freedom to unsubscribe to my channel because you can't expect me to keep it real on everything else. But when it comes to a case like this, I got to be quiet and watch what I say. Hell to the now. The man got a problem. Y'all knew that all along. And nobody did anything for years because he was the hottest thing popping and that money was flowing. Now he in his later years, the industry don't need him no more because they got their new people. They don't think they can get shit out of him, so they shitting on him. But back then they was praising him, making sure that they got his music back on the radio. He had hit after hit after hit, all the while going through this damn trial the first time. But see, now people don't got no use for him. You see what I'm saying? The industry don't need RKelly no more. And if they do help him, it's going to be because they trying to make sure he don't run his damn mouth. Now, I ain't got no heaven or hell to put him or me in. But based off of what I'm seeing, something inappropriate did go on in his camp. And it went on for quite some time. But I can't blame him alone. I blame the parents who brought their children or allowed their children to be with him. I blame the people who worked around him. I know work ain't honest, but it pays the bills. Sometimes you got to shut up and keep doing your job to be able to feed your family. But I'm sorry, I have a moral compass, and I don't give a damn if he was paying me thousands of dollars a day. I'm not going to risk somebody else's child being hurt by this man if I know he ain't right just to feed my family. God will make a way for me, okay? I would have blew the whistle a long time ago, but for y'all to be blowing the whistle now tells me the money done stopped or slowed down tremendously, and y'all complicit. So before the government, before the law come for you, you willing to talk to him so that you can work your little deal so that everything falls back on him. But I tell you this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I honest to God feel like if he did something that was criminally, that was criminally wrong, I want him to pay for that this time. Don't give him a slap on the wrist. Something is clearly not right all the way upstairs with him. And although I may enjoy his music, and a lot of his music is the soundtrack of the best years of my life, I still, as a person, as a human being, as a mother, can't understand why people can't see the broad spectrum. And no, I don't agree with the public slaughtering of this man. You can report the news, tell what you need to tell about the case, and wait for the facts to come out. We do it for everybody else. We doing it for this Epstein man right now. We've been doing it for Harvey Weinstein. We've been doing it for Matt Lauer. We was doing it for Kevin Spacey. We was doing it for what that boy named Charlie Sheen. It's a whole lot of freaky deaky people in the world of Hollywood, and they doing a whole lot. Just to sit back and think, I used to watch people like Corey Feldman and be in awe of the fact that they in Hollywood on this hit show. And little did I know, behind the scenes, they was busting them boys wide open. So it's a lot of deceit. It's a lot of corruption. It's a lot of underhanded dealings with children. And it's a lot going on in Hollywood, okay? RKelly is just a piece of a very bigger puzzle. But I know we on him right now, so we gonna deal with it. But my thing is, I ain't never seen a public slaughtering of an individual the way they doing this man right here. When you got men right now facing similar charges, nobody's talking about that. Nobody's dragging them in the news every single damn day. And I'm not gonna go along with that. I feel like if you was dragging the rest of them, and you was dragging him, I wouldn't say a word. But he is being publicly slaughtered. It's like they want the man to break down to the point to where he kill himself. Is that what the end goal is, to make him kill himself? Or to bring him to justice for crimes he has committed? Which one is it? Because right now, It's beginning to look like you're trying to kill him. And my thing is this. If he take his own life over all of this stress, then that's a private affair between him and his creator. But I'm not going to take part in helping do it to him. I'm going to report what it is that the people say about him. I'm going to weigh in my thoughts and opinions like I do on every other single video. And I'm going to wait for justice to prevail. Some say it's his karma. If it's his karma, so be it. Let karma show up. But it's one thing about karma. When she show up, she don't tell no lies. So everything is going to come out if this is truly his karma. But if this ain't his karma, but an attempt to publicly ridicule and destroy this man, I ain't going to get on board with that. I'm not. Now, take his ass to court, try him in front of a jury of his peers, and let them bring forth their decision as to what happens after that. Do I think that he has done some things? Absolutely. I don't give a damn how much I like his music. I can't lie about it. I think he has done a lot of things. But I also think a lot of people helped him. And a lot of people knew that he wasn't all together. That, geniuses be smart as hell at their craft, but sometimes they ain't very bright. And we can tell that the man ain't that very bright, okay? We know he got a learning disability. Everything don't compute to him as easily as it computes to us. And with him having money, it only made it worse because people excuse the behavior. You were complicit in anything that happened to any of these women because of that. And that's how I feel about it. Now, I'm going to link this article down in the panel section so that you can go over and read all that shit by yourself and you can figure out what it is you believe and what you don't believe. But what I'm saying here today, once again, for the slow people that's going to get in the comments and try to come for me, get off my page if you don't like my opinion. I'm not saying R. Kelly is not guilty. What I am saying is, do you know for a fact that what they're trying to do to him right now is all him? Or was there other parts to this puzzle, other people involved? I feel some of this is right. I feel some of this is wrong as well. And I'm not going to sit here and do video after video after video. I told y'all that in the beginning. This was breaking news. That's why I came through in the middle of the night like a phoenix and slapped this shit all the way up real quick up on that YouTube. That's why. But what I won't do is, I won't sit here and convict this man without there being enough evidence to prove what these people are saying. If they got it, bring it. And I'll be the first one down here saying, child, they got his ass. Let me tell you what he did. I'll be the first to do that. But I'm not going to partake in the public lynching of no black man without full proof that he's deserving of that. I ain't never going to do it. And if that makes me a sympathizer, then you call me what you want to call me. Just make sure you click the video, thumbs up or thumbs down, and make sure you come back to the channel whenever you feel like you want to come back, child. That's all you got to do for me. But that's the latest information I found about it. When something else new comes out, or it's something that you guys may want to talk about because it's out there, I'll come back and I'll do a follow-up video. But I'm not going to sit here and turn my channel into the defense or the downfall of R. Kelly. That ain't what I'm here for. That ain't what I signed up for. I'm here to report celebrity news and gossip, give you a few story times, do some TV show reviews, and maybe some movies every now and then, and to drop some gems of wisdom for being on this earth this long. I know some shit, okay? So that's how I feel about it. And if I come across as aggressive in this video, it's because a lot of y'all try to attack us who just simply report what it is and give our opinions. Remember, opinions are like what? Assholes. And we all got one. So I have a platform and I have a right to say what it is that I need to say. And I said this, so that's it. That's all. I'll see y'all on the next one. We will be doing, for those of you who come to me for other reasons, we will be trying to get a FSF together, as well as a Queen Sugar for you two guys today. It is super late. I'm not expecting no whole lot of views on it. I'm going to put it out there because I like to keep my playlist in order, and it's there if you decide you want to watch it. It's not about the coin. It's about the principle with that. But that's it. That's all I have to say. If you got anything to say, put it down in the comment section. Remember, I don't mind you disagreeing with me. Over here on this channel, we agree to disagree, but we do that shit respectfully, because it ain't nothing for me to block you and keep it moving. Just like it ain't nothing for you to click off the video if you offended by what I'm saying. It's all on you. Make your next move your best move. Have a good Friday.